Welcome to IDEA StatiCa Global User Day 2023. If you're a structural engineer, detailer, connection designer, bridge engineer, or any other person involved in structural analysis and design, you've joined the right stream and you've joined it at the right time. We have people from all around the world joining right now. Let's give them a minute or so to wrap up the registration forms. And in the meantime, I will ask you to do a little warm-up with me. On the right side of your screen, there's a first poll. From where are you watching us? Please, country you are joining the Global User Day from. Myself and the team are in Brno, Czech Republic, the headquarters of IDEA StatiCa. We also have 4 offices around the world, a total of 80 people in product development, customer care, sales. And we also have, in all the other countries, a fantastic network of resellers and partners. Last Global User Day was a year and a half ago, still in COVID. So it's great that we can do it more lively this time, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I see people from all across Europe. Germany is leading so far, excellent. All right, I see Asia-Pacific countries, excellent. Colleagues from the US, okay, fellow engineers. It's very, very early in New York, 8 a.m. Excellent, perfect. Once again, welcome to IDEA StatiCa Global User Day 2023. My name is Juraj Šabatka, and I will be your moderator for this event. And this event is special because we have a mix of my colleagues, representatives of IDEA StatiCa, and our customers to tell you 4 big things. First block will be about what's new in IDEA StatiCa version 23 for steel. Then we'll do a block on voice of the customer, what our customers are doing with the software. Third block is about news in concrete. And fourth block is the winners of Excellence Awards IDEA StatiCa 2023. Let's get into it. Let's get into the first block of IDEA StatiCa 2023 Global User Day. And the first 4 panelist speakers magically appeared on our stage. They are truly live here with me in the studio, so I would like you to meet them, starting from the left. Martin Wild, hello.
Hello.
What's your job, Martin?
I work as a product owner for steel applications at IDEA StatiCa.
Thank you very much. Jana Kaďarová, hello.
Hello everyone.
What do you do, Jana?
I'm a product engineer at IDEA StatiCa, and I provide a technical support to our users and also help them understand our applications properly.
Thank you. Stefan Dudas, hello.
Hello.
What's your business?
I work as a senior project engineer in Payco Group. I am responsible for technical support and special design within APEC region.
Thank you very much. And Ricard Nibaka, hello.
Hello everyone.
What do you do, Ricard?
I'm a structural engineer from Finland to a company named Nordec.
Thank you very much. So we've got people behind the product, people explaining the product, and people using the products. So let's find out what is in version 23 for steel. Let's do the first presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Martin Wild, and I have the honor to give you the first presentation of IDEA StatiCa Global User Day. My role is a product owner in steel applications. In March, for the first time in the company history, we have exceeded 1 million calculations in IDEA StatiCa connection. We are a fast-growing company on a good track, and this is definitely a cause for celebration. We also recognize the huge responsibility you have placed on us. Imagine the number of connections built just within a month with the use of our software tool. Our development team consists of 32 people, which is actually more than the overall number of employees just 5 years ago. In the release 23.0, we have planned 59 big features and were able to deliver 41. Our release notes are 70 pages long. We will now take a closer look at the highlights of Steel and BIM team efforts. These are the welds of welded section, prequalified seismic connections, grouping of manufacturing operations, and BIM improvements. First, let's take a look at the welds of welded sections. You no longer need to use separate Excel sheets or use the great number of stiffening plates and welded operations. You can set the welds directly in the cross-section manager, analyze, check, and report them. Now we move on to seismic design and grouping of operations. All the prequalified connections are available in the wizard templates. The prequalification checks are available in capacity design analysis type. Of course, for your structure, you need to adjust the cross-sections according to your structure. You can do this very easily now. But this placed our design out of the limits. We can group the operations to swiftly find the culprit and adjust it using the predesign function. Then we can set the story shear and check the loading and bending moment diagrams. Since this is a prequalified connections, we may adjust the resistance factors according to AISC 358, which are higher, and after the calculation, we see that the column web panel in shear is not strong enough. That will be fixed by adjusting the thickness of web doubler plate, and now everything is fine, and we see the plastic hinges exactly where we want them. We may browse through the checks and set the report according to our needs. Report now doesn't generate automatically, and it waits for us to set it first. There are a lot of improvements, and Jana will talk about them a bit later. I just want to highlight that there are a lot of prequalified checks all in there. Now let's move on to BIM improvements. BIM API and load mapping simplifies creation and maintenance of BIM links, and we really need it. There are now more than 30 BIM links. The large part of the link is now unified for all. That is the BIM API, an open model to IDEA StatiCa. As you can imagine, each CAD or FEA software has a different policy for local coordinate system and load designation. It does not matter to us anymore. The load is mapped using a special algorithm, and this brings fewer limitations and reduces risks of errors. In big projects, there are a lot of load effects and even more load combinations. But which one is the governing? We have added an algorithm that filters through the load effects and the combinations and selects the dangerous cases with extreme loading or combinations causing the high stresses. We have tested this algorithm on a large number of examples, and it reduced the number of necessary load effects significantly and always found the critical one. That's it from me, and now let's launch a poll.
Results are coming in. How many of your steel connections are you on average importing from other applications? clear winners so far, below 19%, followed by 40 to 60, and then comes the rest. And this might mean imports from analytical software as well as the detailing one, right? Very good, very good. So looking at this, Stefan, are you surprised?
Yeah, a little bit.
Were you expecting?
Yeah, I was expecting a higher portion of imported connections. Yeah, because there are connections which are standard ones, and in that case you can use, for example, old file and you can modify it. But very often the still connections are unique. So in those cases, I think that this import from other software is very useful. Why to start from scratch?
Okay. Jana, your point of view of person who's doing the most difficult support cases around the world, what were you expecting to see?
Yeah, so based on our help desk, it was expected to be somewhere around 50%, maybe a little bit less than 50. So yeah, so the second most common result was my expectation, 40 to 59.
Very good. It's good to see that the BIM links are used, and it's just a matter of how much in any given territory. All right, looking at all the features Martin explained, the welded sections, are they actually used often, Ricard?
Yeah, we have a factory that daily manufacture and work on welded profiles, so it's commonly used. And personally, I haven't designed anything today with a welded section, but weekly I design something.
Okay. Are there any specific in terms of checking and designing the welded sections? Jana, Martin?
Any specifics? So they consist of plates. You can use perhaps a higher steel grade for welded sections, or these sections may be much larger or more slender than the typical rolled sections. And of course, you need to check the welds if there is a load concentration.
Okay. I remember the last release notes, Martin, you were explaining fire design, a brand new analysis in IDEA StatiCa connection. And now a big highlight is grouping of operations. That doesn't sound that scientific. Why did we do it?
We did that because it was the most commonly asked feature from our customer care. So you asked, we delivered, and we hope that you will enjoy it, and it will make your design faster, especially if there are a lot of different operations. But keep in mind that the sequence of operations is still important. You first need to cut the plate and then weld it, for example. It's like in the real life.
Ricard, is this saving time for engineers?
Yes, it is saving time. Yeah, short answer, it is saving.
And how many operations can you have on a connection?
Well, importing something from SCIA engineer, I might have a couple of hundred different combinations to go through. So yeah, it's been really time consuming. I'm a little bit skeptical that IDEA StatiCa can find the right combinations for me, but I've seen it in action, so I'll really try it out.
Perfect.
Looking forward to it.
The AISC pre-qualified seismic design, is that just for our dear US customers, Jana?
Yeah, well, it's mostly in the western coast of US, but you can also use it, or people also use it in South America, or maybe Turkey as well, which is like
very good.
related.
Your experience with seismic design, Stefan?
Yeah, in APEC region, we follow ACI principles. So, yeah, when we design bolted, precast concrete connections, yeah, we follow our design, and in Delta Beam projects, usually we use the design concept where Delta Beam carries just vertical loads, and horizontal loads are taken by other structure or systems.
Very good, very good. I see some of the questions from the audience about the seismic design. So again, I encourage everybody, whatever you're interested in, just type in the question, and we'll try to find the right person to answer. Very good. I will ask Jana to tell us a little bit more about the features in 23 for steel. Let's have our second presentation.
Hello again. My name is Jana Kadirova, and in the following minutes, I will introduce another new features we have prepared in IDEA StatiCa 23.0 for steel to you. Martin has already shown you the highlights of the version 23, but it's definitely not everything we have there for you. So there are many other great features that aim to make the lives of you, our users, the structural engineers, much easier. Without further delay, let's jump right into the first demo. The new version was enhanced by the search box in the cross-section library, the possibility to define the position of the work plane, and by improved reporting. Everything to make experience of the users of our connection application even better. Let's have a look. The search of the specific cross-section among all the other ones used to be quite tedious. Since version 23, you can simply type the name of the cross-section into the search box and find it right away. Next, we have improved the work plane operation. The new way of defining the position of the work plane in reference to a member or to a specific plate can help you use the operation even better. For example, to easily cut various plates and members, such as in the presented example. And once the modeling is finished and the calculation performed, let's see what is there new in the report. So from now on, it is not generated automatically to avoid delays in case of an unintentional pressing the report tab. The new sections for members' positions, their supports, and the positions of applied forces, including the unbalances, have been added. And you will also see the first buckling shape when the buckling analysis was performed. In terms of the standards, the 23 version brings the following updates. The new version of American AISC and the Canadian CSA have been implemented, and this also includes for example, the neglection of the directional strength increase for HSS sections. The cross-sections specific to Taiwanese market, such as channel parallel, channel tapered, and wide flat plate sections have been added into the cross-section library. And for the Eurocode, it is the refactoring of the presented results, plus the range of validity of the investigated model is now checked for the tin-walled members and for anchorings. But let's not speak just about connection. For the member application, we are bringing the following improvements. The option to leave the connection empty enables you to model the cantilevers, for example. The supports of the related members can be now defined with an offset, and we believe that these two features together improve the usability of the application. For better safety, the new warning is displayed whenever the plane load is out of the member's plate. And the unified edge indexing will improve the stability of communication between the connection and the member applications. We have been also intensively working to improve the performance of and the precision of the application. And with the new release, you can benefit from the new measure, faster result redrawing, and the possibility to apply different 3D scene settings. Let's move to BIM. What else is new there? Martin has mentioned the load mapping and the selection of the extreme loads, but that is not complete list. In the field of the BIM, version 23 brings enhanced parametric design implementation. Our advanced users can now activate the developer tab in the top ribbon and specify their own set of parameters and properties. And based on them, the model can be adjusted and designed in an automated way. For the users of IDEA StatiCa checkbot, there is the up-to-date table of the versions of the linked applications. There's even more, which was not possible to squeeze into the short presentation. So if you are keen on finding out everything that the new version offers, feel free to visit our webpage with the release notes for IDEA StatiCa 23.0 and find out more about steel, concrete, BIM, and cloud. And now I would like to know, what is the most impactful feature of IDEA StatiCa 23.0 for steel? Let us know in the following poll.
Poll is coming in. I can see a struggle for the first place. Welds of welded sections now getting a little head up. Yes, so it seems that the most impactful feature is the welds of welded sections, then grouping of manufacturing operations, new reporting, BIM links, member improvements, AISC prequalified seismic design. So, did the most expensive feature to develop win this? Jana?
Well, it did not. As far as I know, the most expensive was AISC checks of pre-qualified seismic design connections. So, yeah, it took a lot of development time, but I think as far as everyone can find their own most useful feature, it does not really matter.
And we believe that if more of the US engineers are already awake, because it's early in the morning, that the result will be much skewed to that. Martin, how do you feel? Most expensive feature didn't get the first place?
Well, the West Coast is still like 6 a.m. now, so that's understandable.
Correct.
Yeah, perhaps we spent the most time on welds of welded sections, so it wins the poll here. But I think there are a lot of things that can save your time and make the modeling easier, and I also like the new measure that will increase the precision of our calculations.
Thank you very much. Moving on from the poll, Stefan, what is your personal favorite feature?
I agree with most of users, for me, wealth of welded profiles is very useful function. So we also can use it and utilize it in our design, because our composite beams are welded profiles. So yeah, I think that it's a very useful function.
Okay. So we heard more about the critical loads, Ricard. Are we getting there?
Yeah, we are getting there. As I said, I was a little bit skeptical at first, but after trying it out, I'm impressed. It will save a lot of time. I use BIM links from SCIA Engineer almost daily, and as I said, a couple of hundred calculation or different load cases every time. So this is a great feature.
Okay. That was a lot of the talk in the last versions was about connection design, but now more and more is about this application member. I'm curious how many people actually know about it. So, Martin, why did we develop IDEA StatiCa member?
We have developed IDEA StatiCa member to make easy the design of members, including connections. So, for example, if you check lateral torsional buckling with semi-rigid joints, it is going to be very hard, next to impossible to do it by analytical means. You need to use your engineering judgments and make some estimations. And with IDEA StatiCa member, you can just calculate your estimates.
Stefan, have you ever tried to launch the member?
Yeah, I tried it. Not much, but a little bit. But I think that it's a very powerful tool. Yeah, I agree totally with Martin that in some cases, as an engineer, it's sometimes very hard to decide what parameters or which procedure you should follow from standard, and even not all cases are covered by standard. So I think that this kind of tool is very good and powerful. I think that it has very big potential in the future.
Ricard, your experience with the member?
I haven't worked on it a lot. At Nordec, we have other people that are experts in member, but I'm starting to see the huge potential in member, and we're starting to using it more and more. So it's a great tool.
Okay. So Jana, if I'm a customer of IDEA StatiCa, do I have to do something special to launch the member if I'm already using connection?
No, definitely not. It's part of the standard install. So if you have a license for steel applications, the enhanced version, you have also access to IDEA StatiCa member.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions from the audience. What is new in user analytics and licensing? So who wants to do it? I guess Jana, that's for you.
Yeah, so it's again something that was asked a lot by our users to see who is actually using the license at the moment. So since the new version, you can see it in your user portal. So you can go to our webpage, log in, and you will see various analytics. Also, you can see the clashes if more people ask for the license from your company at the same time. So you have a great overview of the usage of the license.
Very good. Okay. There's a very challenging question. Why do you still not have the two-way link to Tekla structures? So why is IDEA StatiCa not writing in the Tekla structures model? Who's brave enough to to answer that?
It's going to be me, probably. So we actually did a research in between the potential user of this link. So that means structural engineers, fabricators, and detailers. And actually, they are not looking for these two ways linked to Tekla structures. The model that is going to be calculated differs from the model that is going to be fabricated. So for example, you need tolerances for plates. So the plates in the Tekla structures will be like 2 millimeters smaller to allow for some tolerance and gaps, and then you create the welds. Also for the welding, the detailers often set like one weld and then say all the rest is the same. But in the calculation, in the analysis model, we need all the welds to be set. So we have found out that this is actually not what most of potential customers are looking for.
Okay. There's always the holy grail of absolutely syncing everything to Tekla structures, but to be honest, that's a really tall order. So the next course of action is give the detailers the best possible outputs from IDEA StatiCa, so they can redo and implement the changes from the structural engineer. So that's what will be coming in the next versions. US seismic design. Is the seismic different in the US and Turkey, and why the US one is so special? Or is it just because it's the US, so that's why it's special?
So perhaps I can take this as well. I would say that the seismic design is most advanced in Japan. They have the highest earthquakes, and the structures just don't fall, people don't die. The skyscrapers can be used again at once. In the US, they are the next. After the Northridge earthquake in 1994, there was a huge research investment. They did a lot of tests, and they prepared the pre-qualified connections. So these pre-qualified connections are all tested and validated for the use in seismic design, and we can believe that they will perform really well. So what's special, let's say in Europe, we had the equal joints projects that wanted to do something similar, but these are not codified yet. We are still to see that in the codes. In AISC there is this code 358 that covers the pre-qualified connections.
Okay. There's an interesting question about changing the code in the project. Ricard, has it ever happened to you that you've started a connection project in Eurocode and needed to switch?
No, I have never. I always work in Sweden, Norway, or Finland, so it's Eurocode all the way.
Okay, and when would this could happen? Any thoughts, guys?
If we want to use the same connection from one project to another, then I see the potential of changing the code.
Okay, Stefan, any thoughts?
Yeah, we face this problem because we have offices also in Europe. We have offices in APEC region. So, for example, and we have some kind of library of connections, and we face this problem because if we take some connection from a library which is originally done in Eurocode, so we were not able to change the code.
How hard is this to do technically? Because the code is embedded in a lots of parameters of each connection design project.
It is at the moment quite hard. If we had this thought from the beginning, like 10 years ago or even more, when we started developing the IDEA StatiCa connection, that would be easier, but the decision was made to just be code dependent from the start. There are libraries.
What can I do? Can I at least get the topology of of the join somehow?
Yes, you can use the connection browser. So you would set the connection in the you would export the connection into the connection browser to your either company set or your private design set, and then you would start a new project with your desired code and with the right materials, and then you would import or use this from the connection browser template.
Okay. So at least we can help in that way. I see a nice question about regarding the German market relationship with the proof engineer. Somebody checking the work of the initial connection designer. In our next block, we have our very thoughtful and the right person to answer this, one of our customers from Germany. So I'll leave that for block 2. And go to the next question. Why is utilization of weld capacity in IDEA StatiCa bigger than according to EC 1993? Jana, Martin, any thoughts? When might this happen? Or
Do you want to answer it?
So the question is why we have smaller resistance or smaller weld capacity than according to the hand calculations with the Eurocode. So I wouldn't say that's always the case. So in the hand calculations, you can, in most cases, use like perfectly, let's say, unified stress assumption on the whole weld length, while in IDEA StatiCa we have all the eccentricities and we have the effect of Poisson coefficient, and this causes other stresses that are neglected in the hand calculations.
okay, very good. Reporting. So we've seen multiple improvements in the actual report. As it goes, structural engineers want more. Any plans to make reporting more customizable? For example, 3D view is currently from one angle only and impossible to change. Jana, any thoughts?
I think you can make your custom picture and input it in the report. And of course, we are still improving the report, so probably in the future will be even better. But I think the new version brings big improvements because we are missing, I think, more important things in the report in terms of loading and setting the model itself, and now it's there, and I think it will improve also the communication with the proof engineers.
Very good.
Maybe if I may. So the purpose of the report is multiple. So we want to give the report to peer reviewers, and they need very thorough report. And for them, we believe it would be actually better to see like the IFC or to see the results in the viewer. So that's where we want to go. And then there's the second stage. Once the building is constructed, we want the report to last for 100 years, or the lifespan of the building. And for that, you don't really need like the perfect documentation, because you can always take a look at the structure. We are interested in the materials and so on.
Let's do last question. It's about the outputs. Will we be able to get the IFC and the 2D DVG of the whole connection instead of just the plates? So what do we have right now? In terms of DVG, probably the best place is to use the viewer to get that output. Is that correct, Jana?
We have the possibility to export the DFX or DVG file, so you can open it in CAD application, or you can go into the viewer and see the model in real there for free on our website.
Viewer is our online app, free for sharing the projects. And the question about the IFC.
If I may,
Stefan?
just I can add that IFC file would be very useful. Yeah, I think that it's much more better than for example, 3D GVD or yeah.
Yeah, and that was also the takeaway from the testing Martin mentioned. Give us IFC on a very high level, LOD 400 or similar, and that's what our detailers need. That's what we need to manage the process. That's what will be maybe not 100% enough, but 99% enough. Guys and girls, thank you very much for telling us about the new SYN version 23 in Steel. And let's move to the next blog, Voice of the Customer.